What is up, legends? We are back, and we are back in SF Duel. All right, so real quick, I want to, before I even go to the actual topic of the video from earlier today, I had said something in it, and the reason why I said it is because I didn't have certain information because I'm not a whale. Obviously, I only spent $15 right now. I'm going to spend more, granted, but I don't have a reason to. Right now, it's the only reason why I haven't. I need a reason to, not so much so I just want to do it so I can just get ahead, because I can just play and get ahead. And there's ways to actually get ahead, but it's not necessarily a good thing to do stuff like that, which is why we're going to talk about that in the video. And that sometimes ends up in a trap, which you saw. Like, there's two traps that you need to avoid in this game, and they're very prominent. And one is a free-to-play side, and the other is kind of like nobody's fault. So I'm going to explain all of that so you guys can kind of understand. Hopefully this will help you out in many gacha idle games, because this is just the way that the gacha system works in idle games, and it's designed to trap you into spending. It's literally designed like that. That's what the system is actually doing. And when I explain it to you, you'll be like, holy crap, is that what's happening? And it's been like that for like almost 15 years now, ever since browser. It's just the way that the systems work. And again, I implore you guys, just for your information's sake, don't just listen to me. I'm gonna say this again, on Unity and Unreal, look up how these games are actually made, because they're going to be made on one of those two systems, or maybe some bootleg something somewhere outside. But look up the system behind the system, like what handles the whole gear score in these games, and you start to understand, and you start to see how they are built to progressively, as you go through, trap you into spending money. It's a pay-to-win cycle, and I'm going to explain that in a second. But first, let's head over to Fighter. Now, the mistake I made was on the fashion fighters, and the reason why is because I don't have them, and it doesn't work this way in China, which this is actually a better way of doing it than in China, because in China you just got to make the damn character. But over here, when you get a fashion character, you get the opportunity to link the character to whoever your highest limit break is, which is good. And the reason why I didn't know that is because I don't have these characters. So, you know, in hindsight, and it's funny to me because I literally said, you know, there's something that I'm missing. I knew, and I said in the video, like, it's literally something that I'm missing, because there's no way they expect you just to, where you getting the dupes from for this? Like, I don't think this is that great. And, you know, you had somebody cool who explained it, and then you had like 5 people who was like, forehead, you're supposed to know, and everything else. And I'm like, bro, if you don't spend, how you gonna know? like, and it's not a situation or something that other people. And see, that's when being a content creator, like, people are just toxic for no reason. Like, I literally said, hey, what's going on? Like, this can't be, like, you can't just not know something. And the reason why I didn't know is because I didn't pay to win. So I'm basically like, you got dudes just happy to kind of like try to tell you off because you didn't pay to win. Y'all see how stupid that sounds? I can't. As like being a content creator, sometimes you see some of the, like, and people will run and jump to try to disrespect somebody when they get a chance to, for apparently absolutely no reason, just because they can actually be right at something. For, like, you know, like, it's not a race to be right about something. Like, if you don't know and you ask about information, then you know, just somebody be nice enough, and there was somebody nice enough to give the information, and we have 4 morons. So, you know, it's just human nature. So, speaking of something, I'm going to make you guys laugh. Okay, now that was the time when we laugh. The first trap, and I'll do it in practice now. You see, I'm at 1432. Right now, I'm casually moving through this, just keeping the pace, because I want to allow the game to actually give me resources and me not be forced into actually doing stuff. That's very important. Oh, by the way, tanks can't tank, right? Tanks get wrecked. Thank you, Makoto. No, tanks can't tank. That's why you're gonna laugh about what I'm about to say in a second. Now, the first trap is called the speed trap. And you know what the speed trap does? The speed trap is using characters to CC and be faster, predominantly be Zangief, and which I use them too, but I use them in situations where I just completely get outspeeded. Like I got outspeeded right there, but it didn't matter because Makoto's tanky, and I'm fighting stuff around my level grade and not stuff over it, which we're about to get to in a second. So the speed trap, essentially in this game, you could cheese the systems in this game as CC and go well above your pay grade, basically in power. And I don't know if you guys didn't notice, but every time you do a stage, the computer scaling goes up by 5%. So ever since we go back, and this is universal, it's just it's going to be 5 or 10% every single gacha idol game that you have been playing in stages. That's the way that they are designed. And the reason why that is because that is a whale trap, if you didn't know. And what it's designed to actually do is pressure the whales who are going higher than we are, like way higher than we are, to eventually have to spend again. So let me explain that. So we're going on chapter 1 right now, right? We're at that 5%. And what that basically means, and you literally notice that as you go higher and higher, how the computer's scaling starts to leave you behind, even though you don't have enough resources to actually catch up with it normally. And the reason for that is because the whales are going to be playing at a higher level than you. This is not something that is intentionally meant to, like, you know, make things harder on free to play and casual, but it ends up being harder on free to play and casual when we find out artificial ways to kind of cheese ahead and push into content. So chapter 1, you're at 5%. Chapter 2, you're at 10%. Chapter 3, you're at 15%. Chapter 4, you're at 20%. Chapter 5, you're at 25%. And you start to notice, like, you know, that when you get to a stage, the stage is like, you know, maybe 20 to 30K stronger than you, but you can still pull it out and everything else like that and keep pushing along and getting yourself to a point that you can actually take on the content and keep going further. So here's what happens. Say you're at my level at 1433 right now. So the scaling is at whatever it is, the scaling on power, and it's according to whatever your power is supposed to be in the stage. And usually whatever your power is supposed to be is around this. Like, you see how I'm close to what the scaling is right now? It's all math. It's not even a system that is designed to cheat you. It's a system designed to actually slow you down and encourage you to spend because you're moving too fast through the game and not allowing the game to actually give you resources. These systems, which is why I always say that these games really are free to play if you allow them to be free to play. If you find a way to go faster, whether it be from cheesing the system or spending in the system is designed to say, hey, you're moving kind of fast. We're going to put this multiplier up on you. You are not giving yourself enough time to actually get gear and properly build your characters, properly spend time on other stages and get resources. Because the game, if you notice, gives you plenty of resources. You have Shadowloo that gives a hell of a lot of resources if you allow it to happen every 2 days. You have the tower system that gives you a hell of a lot of brickstones and resources if you just get through it. And it's actually easier than the challenge thing. And I don't even trust the scaling in the tower. I think that's BS. And the same thing in CN. It'd be like, it's way higher than what you are, but it's way easier than it is in challenge. So I think that's on purpose, just to supplement you. You have the events that the game actually gives you that gives you resources over time as well. It's all designed to give you stuff over time, not immediately like just crazy and make you fly through it. They're literally allowing you to play the game freely over time. If you allow the game to do that, which is how people can just spend absolutely no money and enjoy themselves in the game. What ends up happening is that when we find out artificial ways to basically emulate what whales do, that's when the problem happens. That's when the wheels fall off. That's when you start getting people complaining about certain things because they don't understand the system, which is why I'm explaining the system to you. Every single gacha that is an idle game, Nikkei, all of them all work the exact same way, y'all. The exact same way. It's no different. It doesn't do anything any different. It runs by the same scaling. It's designed to say, hey, if you're going to go fast like that and not allow this game to be free to play, then you're going to pay. You either going to pay or you're going to start dealing with overwhelming odds because you are now at scaling designed for you to be a certain power, and you're like freaking half the power of that because you cheesed and used B-Zangief and specifically like what I'm doing right now. Like, I'm no different. I'm not even trying to act like I ain't doing it, but I know what the system's going to do, so I'm not going to get into that trap. I'm using Makoto and B-Zangief sometimes when I can get away with it, and then I flip back out to Chun-Li, and I keep going back and forth like that depending on the situation. If I need the AoE a team, and because Chun-Li's an assassin. She don't look like it. She don't act like it. Her skills don't even act like it, but she actually is an assassin. She's an AoE assassin. And what she's designed to do is hit the whole team and hit everybody in the back and knock them down. So you can progressively just run through them, especially if you have a secondary character that can shoot AoE, which is why Chun-Li and Guile right here are so good because they team AoE a whole fight down for you if allowed. And I do that sometimes. I'll bring Guile in and take Mad Ryu out and get some really good progress that way too. It just depends on the fight. And then sometimes you get elements who counter it, so you need to deal with the fact that, you know, maybe I need to change out my element and do something else, or you get type countered, which basically screws you over and makes you need to actually change to a different type when you're just basically getting type countered. So with that said, I had somebody comment right now. This is where you guys are gonna laugh. They commented and said, tanks are useless in this game. I got 400, my team is 430 right now, which I'm like literally like 100K stronger than that person right now. And he's like, I'm at 17, I think it was at 17 or something like that, chapter 17. So I was like, you're at, first of all, did you bison carry yourself there? Like, you at chapter 17 and 430? I'm looking at my power here. I was like, okay, you cheesed. You just really sat there. RNG based. And before I read the rest of his comment, I was like, okay, you did one of two things. You bison cheesed, which that's possible, by the way. Bison and B-San, or maybe Cody. You cheesed and you chain CC'd and burned everybody down. And or you just basically sat there forever, all day, every day, until you beat a stage, just trying to get that perfect RNG stun and get the fights down, which that's possible too, and credit to you. But that is what is called the speed trap. That is in multiple games. It's actually in Nikkei too. I've had people complaining in Nikkei, talking about stuff and everything else like this. Now here's the funny thing. What I don't think people really understand, and this is where math gets you. It's not when people, you see people say in Reddit, like they got CP, which is kind of the nickname for like, you know, like Makoto's 156K right there. They got CP, and this like CP systems are a ripoff because they're designed to punish you if you're not at a certain level. That's not what's going on. It's not some magic system. It's simply math. Now, 2 to 1, it depends on how the scaling works in most games, but usually attack is usually like maybe 3 to 1 on the scaling. So if your attack is literally what mine is right now, that's almost 3 to 1 on scaling right now, the ratio from attack to defense. So if you have a 3 to 1 ratio and your defense is in the 1, you're probably going to get balanced attack. And what that basically means is I have to actually get my ratio of attack up to 4 to 1 to get a benefit from hitting your defense. However, if you're fighting the computer and the computer has a ratio of 6 to 1 or 7 to 1, say like my defense is right now 4,700 and the computer has 30,000 attack, because they are at CP like 700k and I'm at 400. Guess what's going to happen to your tank? There is no tank in this game that is going to survive that. And this person actually sat with a conscious thought in my comment section and said all tanks suck because they can't tank something 300k stronger than them. Gotta pause to let that sink in real quick. There is nothing in this game or any game that you are going to be able to tank that is 300k stronger than you. That's not how games work. That's not how math works. You just trying to just ignore math altogether. The hell with math. I cheese my way to a stage. I expect to win. You didn't cheese tanking. So why the hell you expect the tank to do that? Your tank didn't get you there. You CC'd. Like, and I see other people say stuff like that, you know, tanks or like the only tank that works like that is Abel. And the only reason why that's the case is because shielding has a negation effect. And eventually shielding doesn't even work like that either. And technically that's only because of the negation effect and that Abel can actually put out a chain shield. So Abel is kind of emulating more HP over the top of that. And that's where you start to understand how life sucks. The life stat in this game just sucks. It needs to be buffed. It's like that in China too, where shielding actually gives you more of a defense against attack than life does. Because life, the minute you get hit by something, it's like you faint. It doesn't even make it, like, it makes no sense how bad life is in this game as far as the scaling. It's just there's something just plain wrong with the life stat in this game. It just really doesn't mean anything. Which is why I hate it. Defense is crazy. Shielding is crazy. And that's why Abel can actually handle that a little bit. But even that is like, you're being ridiculous at the end of the day. Bison can't even stand up to that. That is the reason why you speed traps and cheese yourself into that. Now, I see a lot of people talking about that and like, well, oh, damn, I got to like this chapter with Bison. Now I got to learn how to play the game. It's not necessarily that. It's that you just went too far beyond the resources and you basically trapped yourself into the pay to win cycle of the way that these games work. So I hope I explained that because I tried to get it in depth and then put the math in front of you so you can understand it from math terms. These games don't do anything magical. At the end of the day, they are math. They are math and ratios, and you, no matter what you are doing, no matter what character you have to beat the math at the end of the day. Now you can win fights earlier with outside variables on the math when it will come to CC. Crit is an outside variable on math because crit has a percent that is going to actually do double damage, which pushes your scaling higher than what it normally is, which actually makes you emulate higher power than what you really are. That's the crit thing that actually helps out. Then you have defensive stuff like dodge, which does it the opposite way. When your dodge is actually higher, you're now emulating the fact that you're just not getting hit. So that's like the outside factors in the system, which allows you to actually beat things higher than what you normally do. But at the end of the day, majority of the time, you have to beat the numbers. And when you artificially do that, you're actually slowly but surely strangling yourself basically in the system, because you actually make your own RNG to win go lower and lower and lower and lower, because you're letting the computer get a higher and higher and higher RNG on you, because now they're hitting harder. Now they have better ability to hit than you. Now they have higher dodge than you. Now they have higher crit than you. Like, that's what ends up happening at the end of the day, where you're slowly relying on the fact that you need to CC to stop them from actually doing anything. So you have less and less and less as time goes on margin for error. You just hit that wall where they just simply show up and you die, basically. And that's where that person is at, and they don't realize it. Because they don't understand the system. They cheese the system the whole time, and then they sit up there like, tanks suck because I can't tank something that's literally like a freaking nuclear missile shot at me, and I got a fly swatter now because I basically skipped through half the damn game and didn't play it properly. That's what happens. Second trap is the Bison trap. The Bison trap actually artificially does the same thing. It's nobody's fault. It's just that Bison, he's so broken that he basically just breaks the entire system, and you essentially don't even need to use like Bizan or Cody or C Viper actually works that way too. You don't need to do all that. You got Bison. He come back. If he die, he just come back and he nuke everybody. You put some red gear on him, he carry you all the way to chapter 15 before you actually have to play the game. So now you're at chapter 15 with like 300k team power, and the game looking at you with 600k is like, how the hell did you get here? And now your whole team just faints, and Bison standing there like, well, my broken ass passive that's working the way that it's not supposed to be working ain't gonna work no more now, so I gotta go buy. And what I mean by that is that Bison's overall world passive that he has is actually broken. It's doing something that it's not supposed to be doing, and that's why he is so broken. He gets to revive the number of people alive on the field. So if you literally have no more people alive on the field, the passive doesn't work anymore, and he just dies after that, which is why you have to AoE everybody. But even if you have one person alive on the field, then he's just gonna come back again. So the passive doesn't say that, but that's what the passive is actually doing. And that's why I always saying that people be getting butthurt. The passive don't say that it's supposed to do that. He's supposed to revive once. In China, he revives once. And the passive is on level 5 in China when it's just in the base of his passive and global. Like you just simply get him and he automatically has his level 5 awakening passive at base. None of that is supposed to be there. That is just all broken. That somebody just messed up. So when that gets fixed, like don't even be butthurt. Like if they finally do it properly and put it all the way at the top of his awakening chain, which is really where it's supposed to be. I know people gonna complain on that, but that's really what's supposed to happen. And make it not multiply by how many people that's on the damn field, bruh. But either way, it's not his fault. It's not Bison's fault. So those are the two traps in the game that you have to watch out for. So how do you handle those two things? Again, that's just the way that idle gacha works. And essentially what you have to do is you just literally have to sit there and have your team catch up. Get your proper gear, start doing the other stages, and get your power within the range of actually being able to handle the power that you're actually supposed to be doing. When you're on the stage and it's substantially higher than you, that means you just got there artificially. At the end of the day, the game still wants you to be that. So you can't expect to do enough DPS and do enough defense with a tank on a system that you are literally half the power of. It just doesn't work like that. Like all the traits and everything else don't work like that. I don't understand why people don't get that. Now the whale trap, I understand how people don't understand the whale trap because they don't know the way that these type of systems work, because maybe they haven't been playing them long enough, they haven't been playing in gacha. But most people who play gacha for this long, especially OGs like myself, we know this is where in gacha, this system is universal. Almost every single gacha has that. It is designed to make you spend money. That is how they get you. They gotcha. That is how they get you. You want to rush ahead? You want to be gangster and whale and everything else? This system is going to scale until it's going to make you whale more. That is how they get you all the time. That is how. And then when free to play finds a way and finds something broken, they get you even more because you weren't whaling to begin with. So now you really don't have resources to actually deal with what the game does. So you do one of two things. You complain in my comment section talking about the system broken when it's your fault. You wait. You pretty much wait and then let the game idle and do stuff for you. So you guys notice in these games how I never do that? And people are like, why aren't you whaling? Why don't you spend money? It's because that traps you into spending more money. You see, every game I don't do that because I know that people always ask, and I always say that. I was like, I'm not going to fall for the gacha system. Like, I'm going to let the game pay me, basically. I do content on this game, you gonna pay me. Like technically YouTubers should get paid more than what they do to cover games, because we promote the game. So what I'm doing, I'm letting this game pay me. You pay me. I'm a idle and play and give you guys the information, and this game's gonna idle and give me stuff and then allow me to play more freely. When I decide that I want something that's really cool, like a super cool Ken, like if they put Fashion Ken up in here, I'll pay for that because I like Ken. That's my father's main, my late father's main. I'll pay for that because I like Ken, but I'm not just gonna randomly do it just to do it, just to push myself further into the system and trap myself into having to wait anyway or paying more. So those are two traps. Be very cautious of them. People are going to say, oh, it's like this is how you play peak and meta. Let them play peak and meta and sit there for like a week waiting for their power to catch up. Just fighting a system that is not designed for you to fight it that way, or let them pay to win because they pay the server bill. Either way, I'm good. I'm just going to pace and let the game, pay, basically, I keep saying this a lot. Let an idle game be an idle game. Don't fight it. Don't make it Epic 7. It's not Epic 7. Peace. Thank you, Legends, for getting to the end of the video. We do 3 to 4 videos every day. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be first in notification squad. I love everybody who stops by, and I will see you next video. Peace.